Welcome to the castle, everybody. This is Nightsaber Z42, and this is Character Vault, where I go through all the different RPG games and I create characters for them in a tutorial style video. And today, as you can see right here, I will be creating a character for Cyberpunk RED. Now, you're obviously going to need the core rulebook. In addition to that, you're also going to need 3 pages that are actually the character sheet. A lot of info on these 3 pages, but we'll go through it step by step. Now, Cyberpunk RED, the actual core rulebook here, is very interesting in that it doesn't have just one set chapter for character creation. It's like spread out throughout the entire book. And it can be a little confusing at first, but luckily for us, there is a handy dandy chart where we basically get a rundown of how to create the character. Now, there are 3 different ways to create a character. There's the super easy method, there's the Edgerunner method, which is what we're going to do today, and then there's the you basically create it from scratch and allocate points like that. And so it's called the calculated method. So as I said before, we're going to go ahead and do the Edgerunner method. And so basically what that means is it's a little bit of an automated process, but we do get to make some choices, which is, it's a middle ground. So here we have the Street Rat or the Edgerunner character creation. There's 8 steps that we're going to follow. We'll be coming back to this page, or rather you'll be going back to this page to kind of see where the page numbers are for the different steps that you'll need along the way. The first thing that you're going to do, you're going to actually pick a role. Now, there are 10 different roles in Cyberpunk RED, and they're kind of different. Some of them are a little bit the same, but they all have different abilities. So you have your rocker boy, who are like your bards, your personalities and stuff like that. You have the solo, which are like your warrior class. Net runners are the hackers. Techs are like your mechanics. Med techs are your healers. Media are your other personalities that basically just they want to stick it to the man, basically. Execs, which is exactly what it sounds like. You're a corporate lapdog. The lawman, the fixer, who's really good at finding things that people need, and then the nomad. And so the character that we are actually going to create today is a nomad. I actually thought really long and hard about what I wanted to create as my first character, specifically with this Edgerunner way of creating a character, and I think Nomad is going to be pretty cool for that. So, and we're going to go ahead and write Nomad under the role, and the Nomad gets the motto ability. And so basically, we get a free vehicle every time we level that up, or we can improve one of our existing vehicles. So we do start with rank 4 on that, so I can probably going to choose one vehicle and then kind of spec that out. I might do 2 vehicles and then spec both of those out, but for now, I'm just going to kind of put that to the side and I'll settle that later. So once you've chosen your role, you're going to begin your life path. And these are basically your personal touches for this character. It's kind of like the backstory. You start with the backstory first before you get into the skills and all of that. And so a lot of these tables that I'm about to show you, I've actually gone ahead and chosen specifically for my character. A lot of the life path stuff is on the first page, by the way, right here. So our cultural origin is actually going to be Western European, and we are going to get the French language. Now, just to kind of reiterate, you are going to start with level 4 in whatever language that you choose from your cultural path. So make sure that you include that. Those are 4 free points. So make sure you definitely write that down. So next we're going to figure out what are we like And this is kind of like our personality. I'm actually going to save this specific table for later because I don't know specifically how I'm going to roleplay this person. If I were to actually roleplay this person. So I'm not actually going to set that just quite yet, but I will settle everything else. So for example, the clothing style right here is going to be nomad leathers, and we're actually going to have some sort of a wild color for our hairstyle. I've gone ahead and chosen that. All right, so we got that settled down. The affection that we are never without is going to be these strange contacts that we put in our eyes that maybe kind of change our eye color a little bit, and we'll actually get some cybernetics later on that'll do just that, and so we definitely won't be without that. Next, we get our motivations and relationships. So we have a d10 that we're going to roll for this. So let me get my dice all set and ready. Here we go. We got an 8, which is power. So that is what we value most. We value power. How do you feel about most other people? That's going to be another d10 roll. We got a 6, which is every person is a valuable individual. Really interesting. It's kind of interesting that power, and then we favor that everybody's a valuable individual. Things that you value the most. So we are going to roll for that one as well. We got a 3, which is a lover. Things you value the most. Okay. That could be interesting for us. And we'll definitely go into our relationships here in just a second. Most valued possession that we own. A 1, which is a weapon. Ooh, a family heirloom mayhaps. Okay, so we'll kind of start considering what that special weapon's going to be. Next, we get our background. Our background, I've already chosen, is going to be the Nomad Pack, which kind of makes sense given that we're playing a nomad. Next, we get our childhood environment. Which environment did we grow up in? And I believe for this one is also going to be a Nomad Pack, which is number 3. And a Nomad Pack moving from place to place. Again, these are just things that I think would really fit what our character is. I went ahead and chose those. I didn't really roll for those. And we do have a family crisis, which I will roll for. And that is a 6. Your family was killed, and you were the only survivor. How sad. Oh well. Makes for a great story, that's for sure. So now we get into our friends. We get to roll a d10, and we are going to subtract 7, and that's how many friends we have, or we start off with. So I have 0 friends. Because 7 minus 7 equals 0. Wow. Yep, a minimum of 0. So we have no friends. How about enemies? Roll it 1d10 and subtract 7, and that is how many enemies we have. We have 0 enemies. So, okay, pretty interesting. And I might actually go ahead and change that depending on what my DM is looking for, just to kind of help my DM out a little bit. I might give him some extra stuff to work with in terms of backstory. And then, of course, we get our tragic love affairs and our revenge. So we're definitely going to, well, we don't have any enemies, so we could skip that. But we do have some love affairs to roll. And so we are going to roll 1d10 and subtract 7. So we got 0. Wow, we are a very lonely person. So, oh well. That's all right. And again, of course, I might go ahead and change that just to kind of give my character a little bit some flavor because, being the lone wolf just doesn't kind of really settle it. We do get to decide on what our life goal is going to be. And for that, I'm actually going to figure that out later as well. I'm not exactly going to roll on that because that's too big of a point for backstory just to leave it up to chance or just to kind of leave it unsettled. So I will definitely figure that out next. So that is our life path. It's kind of looking a little bare, but oh well. We're going to figure out what our role path is going to be. So we'll go to page 67 or 68, which is where our nomad stuff is. So when you're talking about the role paths, you have a specific role path. So the life path is for everybody, okay? And then you have a specific role path for your class that you take. So the nomad gets a full 2 pages of stuff to roll on. So how big is our pack that we're running with? Since our family is dead, we're just going to go ahead and roll a d6 and choose and totally roll off the table. And we got a 4. 100 or so members. So cool. And because it's different for every class on your character sheet, it's just going to be a little box that you're just going to have to keep track of. Next, we will decide if our pack is based on land, air, or sea. We're going to be on the land, so we will roll a d10 for this time. We have a 3. And so, actually, hold on. I've already decided this one. So this one is actually, our pack are smugglers. And the way that I thought about it, they specialize in people smuggling. So they basically, if anybody wants to get out of town or go into hiding or go to a different place, then our pack are the people to go to for that sort of thing. And the reason why I chose that specifically is because of what we are actually going to be doing with a specific character later on. So, what do you do in our pack? I've already chosen this one. We are actually a scout/negotiator. So we are really good at talking to people. So that way we could be the party's face in that regard. What's your pack's overall philosophy? We get to roll a d6. Hopefully we won't roll off the table this time. It's another 3. We'll occasionally slip and do unethical things, but it is rare. And you know, survival is survival, and it's of the fittest when you're out here. So, who's gunning for your pack? Roll another d6. Oh, we got a 1. Organized crime. Ooh, that could be very interesting. So, definitely got to watch our backs, especially out here in the wasteland, or the Badlands is what they call it. Next, we get to actually roll for our stats, starting on page 77. So, if you are using the street rat or the street rat method, then what you would do, you would actually go to your table, roll a 1d10, and then you would just go across the entire row for that. But since we're doing the Edgerunner, we will actually roll 1d10 10 times, one for each of the different stats. So, got my d10. The first one that we have is intelligence. What will our intelligence be? Oh, we got a 5. Better luck next time. But the thing is, this table, I actually really like that it's not just, the higher the roll, the better it is. Because obviously you have 6, 5, 5, 5, 5, 6, 7, 6, 5, 6, 5. So it's spread out. It's actually truly random. Next, we have our reflex. 2. We got a 7 on that one. So, hey, our initiative might actually be pretty decent. For dexterity, 7 is going to be 8. For our tech, we got a 1, which is 3, so we're not that good at tech. As you can see, that's actually our nomad's weakness right there. Everything else seems to be pretty good. For cool, let's see, what do we get for cool? 2. We got an 8, so there's another 8 for us. So we play it really cool like. We're charismatic, we play it real cool. For our will, we get a 7, which is a 6. Our luck, We roll a 2, which is 8, so we are very lucky. So we get 8 out of 8. There we go. Our move is 2, which is 7. I find it very interesting that move is actually its own stat in this game, by the way. And our body is 5, a 7. So we're getting some pretty good stats. Tech, I mean, is the only one that we're kind of really lacking for, but hopefully we won't have to really do too much with that. We got an 8 for our empathy, which is 5, which I guess that's on the higher end. 6 was the highest we could have gotten, so I'm okay with that. Okay, so we've done our life path, our roll path, and our stats. We need to figure out what our derived stats are, which is going to be our HP, our humanity. So what we'll do, we need to take our body stat and our will stat and find them in this handy dandy chart. So our body is 8, no, our body is 7, and our will is 6. So we have 45 HP. And our seriously wounded would be half of what our HP is. I don't know if it's rounded up or rounded down. Oh, seriously wounded, yeah, is rounded up. Okay. So that would be 13. Or, what am I thinking? It's going to be 23. There we go. Your death save is equal to your body statistic, which is 7. So there we go. We'll include that there. Our humanity is our empathy score times 10. So our empathy is 5. So that means our empathy score is 50. And every time our empathy goes down, or our humanity goes down by 10, our empathy will actually change as well. So be aware of that. Okay? So after we get our derived stats, we get to move on to skills. So there's a nice few pages that kind of detail what the different skills are. And later on in this book, we also get the same skills again, but a better breakdown of what points into those skills actually do. So I kind of wish that they had put that in this table or on these pages instead of spreading it out over the book. And that's the thing about this specific book, is that for character creation, they give you certain information, but then further down in the book, they give you the same information, but a little bit more detailed. And I find that really confusing. For our skills, we have the Edgerunner. So what we will do, we'll actually take a look at the Nomad skills. And so here, we will get 86 points to distribute between our character skills to raise their totals up, okay? And those points, they can't be used anywhere else. You have to use them here. The caveat is that no skill can be lower than 2, so that means these 20 skills are automatically going to start at 20, and no skill can be higher than 6, okay? And the following skills must be at level 2. Sorry, the bold ones also must be at least level 2. So it's kind of really weird that they say that, but I mean, all of these skills have to be at least level 2. So there's that. Some skills actually have a ×2 next to them. For example, the tech skill has electronics/security tech ×2. That means it takes 2 points to increase it by 1. We get 4 free points in our language of whatever it was. So we do get to add that into our character sheet right here. And here's the way that I've done it. I actually went ahead and calculated it because it actually says here that there's 20 skills for each class. And if you assign 4 points to it, that means you'll have 6 left over. But of course, I don't necessarily want every skill to be at 4. Sometimes I want one to be higher than the others, which means I'll have to take some that are lower. So what I did was I actually wrote all of the skills that the Nomad will have. I started them out with 2 because it's required for them to have 2. And then what I did was I have 48 points left over from my 86. And then I went ahead and said that these are the important skills that I must have. And I gave those a +4. And then the ones that were next on my tier got a +2. And then the ones that were at the bottom of my tier list, they didn't get a bonus at all. So I went ahead and calculated everything here. So after our skills, we get to decide what our armor and our weapons are. And since we are doing the Edgerunner, that's kind of already figured out for us. So on page 98, we get how to get your stuff, weapons, and armor. If we go to the Nomad stuff, we are actually going to take a heavy pistol. Not a very heavy pistol, but just a regular heavy pistol. And I'll go ahead and write the stats there a little bit later. And then we are going to get some basic ammo. We'll be getting 100 of that. We get a heavy melee weapon, and I believe for melee weapons, we get a heavy melee weapon. So I think we were going to go with something like a... oh, they don't have it here. I was going to go with one of those batons, like one of those sticks that you just kind of, and it comes out. So I'll have to remember what the name of that is. And we were playing Dungeons and Dragons today, and somebody said the name, and it's blanking on my mind right now. So we'll just take the heavy melee weapon. So we get light armor, which gives us an SP of 11 or stopping power. And then we also get a headpiece, which has the same thing. So we'll just go ahead and add light to those. And that's all we get, at least for our weapons. So then we get to look at our gear. And on page 103, we get starting gear. So for the Nomads, we actually get an agent, anti-smog, breathing mask, duct tape, flashlight, grapple gun, inflatable and sleeping bag, medtech bag, radio communicator ×2, rope, tech tool, tent and camping equipment, bohemian jewelry, nomad leathers, tops ×4, bottom ×2, footwear ×2, a jacket and a hat, all of which would go right here on your first page where you have your Lifepath stuff, and oh my gosh. And they would just go right here under gear, which I will add that a little bit later, just so for the sake of time here. After we figure out our gear, we get to move on to the really cool stuff, the Cyberware, which is actually, seriously, my favorite part. And we get interface plugs or Wolvers and a Neuralink. That's all we get to start with, that is. We actually get 500 EB to spend on anything that we want at the end of this, so it'll be pretty cool. I believe a Neuralink is a head. Neuralink, yes. Give me that. We also get interface plugs, which is part of the Neuralware. And an interface plug, if you've ever played Cyberpunk 2077, it's the thing that comes out of your wrist and you just jack it into something and you interface with it. Pretty cool. Really good if you have a cyber car, because that's how you drive it around. You just plug yourself in and you let your brain just drive it around and stuff like that. It's pretty cool. And so we get 500 EB to spend on extra things. And so the things that I'm going to spend it on is actually some fashion wear, because we are really good at talking to people. It only makes sense that we actually got to look our best. So for fashion wear, I'm taking the following things. I am taking Chemskin. So dyes and pigments infused into the skin to permanently change its hues. I'm also going to take Tech Hair, because if I have both of those, I get a +2 to personal grooming. But you got to look your best if you're talking to people and making trades and stuff like that. We're also going to take Shift Tax, which is color changing lenses. So that thing that I can't be without, the contacts, that's what this is going to be. Gotta really have some cool hair, some cool eyes, and some cool skin. We're a cool person. Yeah, that's right. So we'll just go ahead and add that here. and that will actually take 300 EB, so that means I would have 200 left in my pocket to spend on whatever I want. So there we go. The last thing that we actually need to do as a nomad is to figure out what vehicle we're going to take. As a nomad, we actually get access to our pack's vehicles, so to speak, and every time we level up our roll ability, we get to add another one to our pack or to our garage, or we can upgrade an existing one. And so that's actually going to be in the section that specifies what our roll abilities are. I can never remember what that page number is. All right, so on page 161, we get the motto, the nomad roll ability. So we get nomad vehicle familiarity. A nomad adds their motto rank to any drive, land, or pilot air, or pilot sea, vehicle tech, land vehicle tech, or sea vehicle tech skill check they make. So that's pretty cool. Even though we don't have any skill points into some of those tech skills, we still kind of get like something for that. Whenever a nomad increases their roll ability rank, they have the option of either adding a stock vehicle with minimum specs of their model rank or lower to the pool of vehicles they have permission to use from the family motor pool, or upgrade one of the nomad's already permitted family vehicles with a single upgrade of their model rank or lower. So, since we are rank 4, we have access to a compact ground car, a gyrocopter, a jet ski, or a road bike. And so I think since we can pick 2 of those for our life path, I'm actually going to go ahead and take the ground car and the road bike. And so on the next subsequent pages, we actually get a list of upgrades. So we have the all vehicle upgrades, and there are some rank requirements. So like the first one, the armor chassis, we need a rank of 5 in our motto ability in order to take that. A lot of these upgrades, though, they only require 1 rank, so that's pretty cool. And they're also separated by the actual vehicles themselves. So this one is all vehicles except bikes, jet skis, and gyrocopters. Then we have all land and sea vehicles, all land vehicles, all land and sea vehicles except bikes and jet skis, all bikes, all ground cars. And then we have the Aerozep, the AV4, the cabin cruiser, the ground cars, and the yachts. So I would actually take a look at all of that and then choose probably 1 upgrade for each vehicle that I have. That way it's a little bit more even. So I would take 1 for my bike, and then I would take 1 for the ground car. And I would take the ground car basically just to have something that my peeps can kind of roll around in. But really, I'm wanting to take up that bike because, you know, there's nothing cooler than a cyber lady just driving down on the bike with her purple hair dangling behind her. So that's actually all for character creation. There's a lot of stuff on these pages, but you're not really... It's very well organized. I'll just say that. You have your skills, you have your life path, and then you have your cyberware. So just 3 pages with those 3 information. It's just a lot text heavy. Some of the font is a little small, and yeah. I do like this picture of the skeleton though. That's a nice touch. So anyways, that's going to do it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Feel free to leave a comment down below. You can even link up your own creation for Cyberpunk RED in the comments down below. Give this video a huge thumbs up to support this series, and subscribe if you want to see more. I will have this character sheet specifically in the description below, so you can actually take it and use it as you see fit. It'll be a little bit more fleshed out and filled in with the backstory and all of that too. So I will see you guys in the next video.